Hello my crafty friends, it's Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations, and I am showing you a background that I pulled out of my stash. I believe this was ink smushing on some watercolor paper. I have an entire basket of backgrounds that are just random that I've worked on, and it's my goal to start using them up. So I have a stencil which is from Sassy and Crafty, and I am taking some Blueprint Sketch Distress ink and just an ink blending foam, and I'm just kind of pouncing this. I'm not trying to get a perfect blend. I just wanted to give the illusion of waves into this blue background that I have. I am taking part in a hop today that was put on by Lisa Wolf in our Handmade Happiness group on Facebook. So it is a mermaid themed hop. It is a hashtag driven hop, so I will have the hashtag in the title and the description box of my video. So all you have to do is click on that and you can see all of the projects, right there, whether they be on YouTube or Instagram or wherever. If you search that hashtag, then you can see everything that everyone has worked on. So I had picked up my stencil and decided I wanted a little bit more, so I put it back down. And I'm just holding this down with some painter's tape on the back of it because I'm famous for ripping them. I do put it on my pants first, the tape, so that it's not quite so sticky, but I do still find it tends to rip the back of my cardstock a little bit. So then I got this gold shimmery spray in a recent Simon Says Stamp card kit, so I'm just going to spray that. I do daub off some of the bigger drops so that one, it would dry quickly, and two, I didn't want to have a whole lot because I didn't want it to be too much gold. I didn't want it to take over. And then just blotting that up a little more and trying to show you the shimmer that you get with it. It's really a neat spray. I can't wait to use it, maybe like on some black cardstock. So I am using the Beautiful Mermaid stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I am going to stamp out this mermaid using my Gina K amalgam ink, and then I will color that and cut it off screen using my Scan and Cut. I do stamp it a few times to get a good impression, which sometimes I think it's honestly habit instead of so much getting the good impression. I just feel like you have to stamp it at least twice. I don't know if that's what everyone else does. So I hope that you'll check out everyone in this hop. It's just something a little fun to get through the blah of winter right now, because we keep getting snow here in Vermont. And honestly, I know it's February, but I'm tired of the winter. It hasn't been that bad this year, but oh, come on, spring. I'm ready for some grass and some sunshine. I was so excited to leave work today, and it was 4:30 in the afternoon, and it was still light outside. So that is definitely a step in the right direction. I do use my sleeve just to give me a little easier gliding with the MISTI. I also bought an eraser for an eraser board, and I have used that. The one I bought I don't particularly care for, but I'm going to look for one because it does help with the hands if to not put as much pressure on your MISTI. So I am taking some fishing twine that my son had left behind. It's got a little bit of a green tint to it, but I'm making it work. And I'm just going to adhere this to the top and bottom of my mermaid using some painter's tape so that it holds it in place. And this way I didn't have to adhere it down, so it might move a little bit because I am making a shaker card today. So this way you can't really see the fishing line, and then that way the mermaid is kind of suspended in the middle without completely adhering it down. So I'm just going to use some painter's tape to the back of my panel. I fuss with this a lot more than I will make you sit through and watch because I couldn't get it quite lined up the way that I wanted it. So I readjusted it a few times, but I do finally get it how I want. So we'll get everything taped down. And I did put some adhesive on the back, so the tail and the top, just so it kind of pinned it down, because it was wobbling a little bit more than I wanted to, and I was worried that it might come apart. So that's what I'm doing here, just putting a little bit of tape on the back to make sure that everything is good and adhered down. and just adding in some more of the painter's tape. And just showing you that it wiggles a little bit. And then just double checking that everything is where it needs to be. So then I am going to take some packaging from my stash because some of my crafty friends have taught me this little trick to make a full panel shaker card without using acetate like I was using. I was using the thick sheets. So you just take some old packaging, tuck your panel in there, and wrap it around and adhere it down, just glue it down. And then I trim off the excess of the corner so that it's not shown or being kind of bulky. So I'm using some double-sided adhesive that I'm using on the very edge of this so that it adheres to the back of the panel. And then these pieces, I won't peel the backing off. I'll just leave them as they are. I will trim down the top so there's not as much bulk there. And then I will take my shaker elements and put them in the front. And then once I get everything in and ready, I will put some more of the double-sided tape all over the back. And so I am using broken glass and some combination of seed beads from my stash. They're in this container because I had done this a few times and fussed with it and ended up needing a new packaging container before I could get it how I wanted it to be. So I'm just trimming off the corners of the top so that, that it's not so bulky. And I will again use the double-sided adhesive to just kind of tack that down. And then I will run some of the same double-sided adhesive along the back so that I can adhere it to my card panel. And then these strips I will take the backing off. And it's just a standard A2 size white card base that I'm using. That I'll get that adhered down. And I lied. I didn't use that. I used the ATG Done. I never use this thing lately. I don't know why. I find I struggle with it, but the adhesive is cheap, and I have a bunch of it from Amazon, and it works once I get it loaded. That I always have to watch a YouTube video before I could get the thing refilled, but I manage. So I'm using that instead to get this adhered as centered as I can to my card panel. And then from that same stamp set, I am going to stamp a sentiment on just a scrap piece of white cardstock, and I am going to use the Blueprint Sketch Distress ink so that coordinates with it. And I have just trimmed that out, putting some adhesive on the back of that, and I will place that down on my card panel. So that's going to complete today's project, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you will check out everyone who is participating in this mermaid hop. And as always, I hope that you have a great day.